Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into some serious motivation.
Uh-huh.
We're cracking open this supercharged video, Como mi hais arco in 12 meses, which basically translates to how I became Rich in 12 months.
Oh, I've seen that one, yeah.
Now, this video doesn't hold back on the advice, so we're going to distill those key habits that can lead to a richer life and unpack what they really mean for you.
It's about separating the truly insightful nuggets from the rest and seeing how they connect to the bigger picture.
Exactly. So the first habit this video emphasizes is the importance of self-reliance. It actually says, stop expecting people to treat you well. Sounds a little harsh at first, right?
It does have that initial jolt, but what's fascinating here is that it's about shifting your focus from external validation to internal strength. It connects with the idea of social proof, this human tendency to look to others for cues on how to behave, what to believe, even what success should look like.
It's like we're constantly bombarded with messages about who we should be and
Yeah.
what we should have instead of celebrating our own unique paths.
Precisely. The video drives this point home with a brilliant analogy, likening those expectations to Einstein's famous quote, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid."
Wow, that analogy really hits home. We've all felt like that fish at some point, right? Especially when we're scrolling through social media, comparing our everyday lives to everyone else's highlight reels. Which brings us to the second habit the video stresses. Stop comparing yourself to others.
This habit is all about breaking free from that cycle of negativity that comparison traps us in. Instead of constantly measuring ourselves against others, it encourages us to find joy and fulfillment in our own unique journeys.
It's like the video creator says, imagine taking all that time you spend on social media, comparing yourself to others, and investing it in yourself instead. He actually talks about how he used that approach to learn new skills, eventually becoming a leading expert in his field.
That's a powerful example of how redirecting your focus can lead to incredible growth. And that leads us to the third principle this video emphasizes. Stop expecting a map. Life's not a straight line.
Okay, this one definitely has me intrigued. It feels a little counterintuitive at first. Why wouldn't we want a clear plan?
Because clinging too tightly to a predetermined path can actually stifle growth and innovation. This video encourages embracing uncertainty and viewing unexpected detours as opportunities for learning and discovery.
So instead of getting stuck in the planning phase, it's about taking that first step, even without knowing every single twist and turn ahead.
Exactly. The video's creator actually shares his own experience launching his business without a meticulously detailed plan. He dove in headfirst, embraced the unknown, and adapted as he went along, a true testament to the power of action over endless planning.
That's inspiring. It really highlights that sometimes the most direct path to success is paved with unexpected twists and turns. Now, the fourth habit this video emphasizes is to stop making excuses. It's about taking control, right?
Absolutely. It's about shifting from a mindset of blame to one of empowerment. This video encourages focusing on what you can control: your actions, your reactions, your choices, rather than dwelling on external factors outside of your control.
It's easy to get caught in the trap of blaming external factors for our circumstances. This video challenges us to break free from that.
And it does so with a really powerful personal story. The creator talks about growing up in what he calls the hardest conditions imaginable. But instead of letting that define him, he chose to focus on what he could do to change his situation.
It's an incredible story of resilience and taking ownership, a testament to the power of choice. Even when faced with incredible adversity, we always have the power to choose how we respond.
Exactly. He chose to become the author of his own story. And that's a choice we all have.
And speaking of choices, the next habit is all about how we manage our most valuable resource. Stop wasting time.
Yeah, and it's so easy to kind of get caught up in the day-to-day, and just lose sight of how important every hour is,
hmm
you know?
hmm Yeah, it's like that old adage, time is money, but we hear it all the time, and we don't really think about it, in terms of how we
Right.
live our lives.
Right. And this video, it really emphasizes that. It highlights the power of consistency with a quote from Earl Nightingale. And he says, if you spend 1 hour per day studying a subject, you'll be an expert in that subject in 5 years.
Just 1 hour a day, that's it.
1 hour a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not about like having these big, massive chunks of time. It's about just that consistent effort.
Yeah, and it feels manageable, to think like, okay,
Yeah.
1 hour a day.
Absolutely.
This next habit kind of speaks to that same spirit of resourcefulness. The video urges us to Stop waiting for a huge chunk of capital.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Because so many people, I think they think that they need to have
Yeah.
just a ton of money to pursue something that they really want to do or
Right.
whatever it is. But this is about thinking like an entrepreneur, right? Starting small, using what you have available, and scaling gradually.
It's about resourcefulness and creativity, not letting limited resources hold us back
Totally.
and using what you've got. Yeah.
Exactly. And the creator of this video,
Mm.
he actually tells a story about a friend who came to him with a business idea but was convinced that he needed $2,000 to get started.
Okay.
And the video creator was able to help his friend find a way to launch with less than $100.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible. It really shows that we often have more resources than we realize if we're willing to be resourceful.
absolutely.
And that kind of leads us into another important habit, one that's really foundational to everything we've been discussing so far. Stop doubting yourself.
Yes, love it. This one I think is super important after we've been talking about this idea of resourcefulness
Hmm.
and facing those fears and taking that leap.
It's like having that faith in yourself.
Yeah, and it's about cultivating a deep belief in your own ability to learn and grow, figure things out. Not about having all the answers up front, but trusting that you'll find them.
It reminds me of that great Muhammad Ali quote, "It's lack of faith that makes people afraid of meeting challenges."
Yeah.
That self-doubt can be
Oh,
so...
absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure, and it stops so many people from getting started.
Yeah.
But this video challenges us to confront those doubts head on, step into our own power, and recognize that we have the strength and resilience to overcome obstacles.
And a lot of this just comes down to mindset, right? Which brings us to a habit that might feel a bit provocative. Stop expecting miracles from the government.
Yeah. This one sparked some interesting conversations in our research team.
Understandably.
It's not about saying that there's not a place for social safety nets or responsible governance,
Right?
but it's about really emphasizing personal responsibility
Yeah.
and agency.
It's about recognizing that while external support systems can be valuable, true empowerment comes from within, right?
Yes,
It's
exactly.
about cultivating what they call an internal locus of control, believing that you have the power to influence your own life,
That's a great way to put it.
rather than feeling like you're at the mercy of external forces.
100%.
It's about taking ownership, right?
Taking ownership.
Of our lives and our choices and our paths forward. And this next habit feels particularly relevant in the context of everything we've been discussing. Stop being afraid of failure.
This is a big one for me because I think for so many years I was so afraid of making a mistake or failing that it really held me back from a lot of things.
Yeah.
And what this video does so well is that it encourages us to actually reframe failure,
Okay.
to look at it differently.
Yeah.
So instead of seeing it as this opposite of success, it wants us to view it as an inevitable stepping stone
Oh, interesting.
on the path to growth.
It's about embracing those missteps as opportunities for learning and course correction rather than letting them completely derail us.
Right.
There.
You said it perfectly.
It's about not letting that fear stop us from moving forward, which leads us perfectly into our final habit for today. Stop waiting for perfect conditions.
I love that one. Yeah, it's a call to action.
It is. This video is basically saying, start in Malibu with what you have and don't let perfection be the enemy of good.
It's so true, though, right? We can get so caught up in wanting everything to be perfect that we never actually take that first step.
Exactly. And this video is all about encouraging that mindset of continuous improvement, right?
It's progress over perfection.
Adapting as we go.
100%. And the video creator, he says, let me see if I can find the exact quote here. Oh, yeah. The key is to take the first step and adjust course as you go. Don't let that fear of making mistakes stop you from starting.
It's funny because looking back over these 10 habits, it's interesting to see how they all connect to each other. It's like this roadmap for building a richer, more fulfilling life.
It is. And what I really appreciate about this video is that it's not giving you a rigid set of rules. It's more about these guiding principles.
It lets you find your own path.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what does this all mean for you listening right now? If you took just one of these habits and applied it to your life over the next month, imagine what could be different, right?
It's amazing to think about, right? It doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing. Even just a small shift
Totally.
can make a big difference.
For sure, for sure. So maybe you could be a little bit more self-reliant, or maybe you could be more deliberate with how you're spending your time.
Or maybe even just a little bit more courageous when it comes to uncertainty.
It's about finding that one habit that speaks to you at this moment in your life
Yeah,
and then taking that first step.
that's it. That's how it starts.
Amazing. Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, you have the power to create that richer life you're looking for. Until next time.